Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome to the show, where we interview the nation's leading real estate entrepreneurs. Welcome. Oh man, Bernard, I don't think you realized that was my intro. That's all right. That's
okay.
all right.
Say anything for the rest of the time.
I love it. This is awesome. I love it when it's impromptu. But yeah, welcome to the show. If you've never been here before, or you're coming back for your second, third, or 100th time, as you know, we provide a ton of value to real estate investors and real estate professionals. I'm here with Bernard Grant today, and we are going to be talking about his background in electrical engineering, which led him down into real estate investing, and what he does now in helping people secure grants for their properties. He is the founder of Zero Down Smart Start, and we're going to get into it today. Now, just remember, at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, and real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x their businesses to allow them to build the businesses they've always wanted, to allow them to live the lives they've always dreamed of. That being said, Bernard, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Stephen.
Man, I'm super excited to get into our conversation today because you have a niche within real estate that I don't think a lot of people are even aware of is possible for them. So before we kind of get into that, talk about grants, talk about where you've came from and where you're at now, just give us a little background for our listeners on what got you into real estate, where you started, and what's got you to where you're at now with your focus.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, Stephen. So a little bit about my background. So I actually got my undergrad in electrical engineering. And that's really what I thought I was going to do. I was focusing all on that. And I thought real estate would just kind of be something on the side, okay, I'll have some properties and it will be able to cash flow a little bit, but I'll be strictly, engineering. But then from there, once I started going to the houses, me kind of having that, engineering electrical brain, every time I would go in, I would just go right to the panels, electrical panels right away, because that's what I knew. So I'd go from home to home, and I was looking to buy. I was looking for a multifamily, which I end up investing in a 4-family. Was my first property I ever bought. Really because it was, okay, I just got out of college, I just got out of school, I couldn't afford a $5,000, $4,000 mortgage on my own. So I said, okay, what's a way where I can live in a property and help pay for it, help pay for the mortgage? And that's kind of where, my love started. I was going from open house to open house. The tough part, as many investors, when you first start out, is that capital and that initial down payment and those closing costs. And for me, Stephen, I think I've been to hundreds of open houses where it was a perfect fit, but that $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 down payment was like, I just couldn't afford it at the time. And then from there, I was able to really kind of start searching for different grants and even balloon loans where you can have a loan, zero interest, interest free, and pay it after the 30 years. After you either sell your home or end of the 30 years when you're done paying for it. And from there, I kind of had a lot of friends speak to me like, hey, Bernard, how'd you get it? How'd you get it? And I was like, well, I just, went online and made some Googles for different grants that I could find in different funding. And I started helping out some of my friends get their properties. And from there, I was like, just doing it for free. I was helping out a lot of my friends. And I was like, wait, I think there's a niche because every person I spoke to said, hey,
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
we're already paying $3,000 in rent in Boston. That's the same price as a mortgage. We don't have that initial down payment of those closing costs though. So that's kind of where I was like, you know what, I think I can turn this into something, and out of that came Zero Down Smart Start.
Wow. So now, when you were going back to the beginning there, when you bought your fourplex, did you know you were house hacking? Like, did you know that's what it was called in the beginning, and that's why you chose to do a fourplex at first?
A little bit. So my father, actually, he was in real estate for 30 years. So I even remember when I was a kid, we would go to his different properties and I'd be like, all right, just do this. And I'd be hitting a nail with the hammer, probably into nothing, but he just wanted to keep me busy. So I was probably just hitting a nail while he was really, fixing the stuff that had to be fixed. But it was really ingrained into me from a young age. So I just kind of, with him, I would see it and we would always go to his properties. When I was looking, it was okay. Either I kind of, like I said, I buy a single family and now I have to figure out how I'm going to afford $4,000 a month in a mortgage, or if I get a fourplex, I can live in one unit and all the other tenants can help me pay for this mortgage, where now I could pay a third or a quarter of that, that mortgage. So I think it was kind of 50-50. I think I saw it, but I didn't really know at the time there was like a term or a name or anything like that.
You were just looking at it from the perspective of, man, how can I get a house and I don't have to pay for the whole thing?
Exactly.
I love it, man. That's super smart. So, man, you grew up with a background in it too, though. Seeing dad out working on properties. Now, did you know about the grant when you purchased that first property, or were you looking to accumulate more properties and that's when you started thinking to yourself, man, like, where am I going to get 50, 60 grand for these additional, when did that come into play for you?
So a little bit about my background. So I'm from Massachusetts, and everyone who knows Massachusetts in real estate is one of the most expensive states when it comes to real estate. So there's a state, little state right below it, Rhode Island. So I said, okay, maybe not this $1 million house right here in Massachusetts, but I can get the same house or even something a little bit bigger, just an hour drive down, to Rhode Island. So I went down there. At the time, I didn't really know about grants or anything. I was just saying, the way I thought was, okay, what's the least amount of money the house costs? What's the least expensive house that there was? And that's what I was looking for. And I think that's why I missed out on a couple of great properties, because I didn't know that the government, local, federal, state, they give funds. They have funding and they give grants to homeowners, not only first-time homeowners, but even now I'm applying and we're getting some grants for myself, the team, and some of our clients that they've had a home. They've owned the home for 20 years and they just didn't know, oh wait, I can get my kitchen remodeled for free. I can get my bathroom remodeled for free. Like, these grants are out there. And that's really what I kind of came to find out over the years, and after getting property after property in multiple states. So we're not just in New England anymore, we're all across the US. But at the time, no, honestly, Stephen, I had no idea. I just thought, what's the least expensive house? And that's what I was shooting after. And even then, realistically, being honest, real estate is always going up. So even the least expensive house was pretty expensive for a 23-year-old kid at the time. So that's I didn't know at the time.
Right. Now, so for our listeners' sake, who may not know, or this is like a completely foreign concept, what exactly is a grant and how do they work?
Definitely. So a grant there's multiple grants. I mean, there's government grants, but there's even nonprofit grants as well with different nonprofits. So let me ask you a question, Stephen. So what's something you like to do? Like, what's a hobby that you have?
I like to golf.
Golf?
I'm one of those weirdos. I don't typically say I golf. I say I like to hunt. And then people ask what I go hunt for, and I tell them golf balls.
Yep, it's in the water and the trees, everywhere else besides the green, right?
Exactly.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Yeah.
Same. I'm the same. So even golfing, Steven, I promise you, whatever state you're in, there's a golfing grant. Like, hey, if you love to golf, if you're a golfer, come with us. We have either a golfing nonprofit or there's something with the government where we can get you a grant if you like to golf. I promise you. And that's something that a lot of people, and even me at the time, I didn't know. So a grant essentially is just an amount of money that's allotted to a specific organization where they can say, hey, if we, let's say our grants are for golfers, we're the Golfer Grant Association, right? They have a certain amount of money to give out to people who want to buy properties or buy homes or invest in their homes that just like to golf or something like that, or whatever your hobby is.
Sure.
Typically, I mean, it could be where you work, what what your hobbies are, what you do for work. If whatever your situation is tax wise, and it's not only for people who make a certain amount of money. You can have to make less than this or more than this. It's for everyone. So a grant is just a certain amount of money that's allotted to people when they're looking to buy or invest in their properties.
Right. And I've been around the block enough to kind of understand how grants work now.
Yeah.
But like for example, like I've got a friend of mine who he has a company which is a nonprofit technically,
Yep.
and they go into schools to provide mentorship and leadership to kids in underprivileged schools, but now they're starting to get in all of the schools here in our state,
Yep.
and then
Nice.
they're getting crazy amounts for grants, like 5
Yep.
milli here, 10 milli here, right?
Yep.
And so I think a lot of times people maybe think, oh well, it's not going to apply to me. So like as a golfer, for example, with the Golf
Yep.
Grant Association or whatever that might be,
Yeah.
I think most people would say, well, Bernard, that sounds all fine and good, but I'm doing well for myself. We'd really like to buy a house. We started a family young, and so we're kind of in that phase. We're approaching our 30s, and we still rent, but we'd love to buy
Yeah.
a house. But
Mhm.
the government just ain't gonna give around free money. How can I qualify for that if,
Yeah.
if it's actually something that's available?
Yeah, and that's what I thought too. And I have to say that's the furthest thing from the truth. I thought I made a certain amount of money, and because of that, they were only giving out grants to people who made another certain amount of money. And that was just my mindset until I really started diving deep. Like I promise you, Stephen, I was on every website you could possibly imagine, just searching, searching, searching. And I realized that, of course, for some, it may be certain federal or state grants that are, income bracket, but not for everything. And that's kind of what we do at Zero Down Smart Start. We're in all 50 states where we already have, so we have, a couple different programs, a done with you, for you, or by you program. But in all 50 states, we already have, hey, here's a list of 20 grants that we can just give you, right away. And then that's not even including something personalized, which we love to do a little bit more because we don't really do cookie cutter because that also wouldn't be the best for our clients. I can just give you a piece of paper, but also you need to know how to, apply for their grants, maybe the best times to do it, certain information that you need to add in, or even certain things. For example, I used to do karate, right? Someone might think, hey, I did karate 10 years ago, but that might not be applicable. I promise you it is. Like, I promise you it is. So that's kind of what we do, and that's what we really help find people grants. And in all 50 states, there's something for you, and there's something for every listener out there, and that's really what we do, and we help find it.
So now, what happens when the 7 million listeners of our show? I'm kidding, but
Yeah. No, speaking into existence, I believe it, Stephen. I believe it.
But at this current time, what happens when people take action and they say, you know what? Well, I'm just gonna go look. I'm gonna go look for this. What are some of the things that hold people back from actually just doing the research and searching it? Is it because the grant writing process can be messy if you don't do it right? Why do you think more people don't do it even if they know about it?
I think it's it's one of those things when you look at something that you think is so large and grandiose and it's not even possible. I think it just discourages so many people. For me, and that's how it was for me. I can personally honestly say I was discouraged.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
For a while, just after looking for home and just saying like, I just simply can't afford it, right? So after a while, I was like, you know what? It just probably isn't for me. I could make all these excuses and blame this person, this corporation. It's too hard. 2025, it's just not possible to buy a home anymore. But that's really not the case. But I think the biggest thing is people just kind of get discouraged and they also don't know where to look. We have these huge search engines, which are great, but you're really, even those search engines, it's who pays to be sponsored at the top, right? That's just how everything works now. But with us, we have certain relationships in all 50 states with, like I kind of talked about, nonprofits or with local governments, where we maybe have some connections that you won't be able to just find on, your local big search engine like Google or whatever it might be. So I think it's that, and then also just consistency. The home prices continue to rise, and we say, okay, interest rates continue to rise. So just mathematically, interest rates are higher, homes are higher, your down payment and your mortgage is going to be higher. But that's not really a factor if you have someone else paying for that. And that's kind of what we found. And that's what we really tell people. If you're looking at your income alone, hey, maybe you may not be able to afford something, but that's why you have us. So you don't have to look at your income alone. So we can have other funding and grants where we can bring you and we can really make it a possibility, and we can make your dream a reality.
Right. Now, can people get multiple grants, or are they just limited to one necessarily? Like, how could this benefit if, maybe I am an investor already and I have several properties, but I'm looking to buy another or something along those lines. Can I apply for multiple grants? Like, how does that process work?
Multiple grants. So actually, our second property that we ever got, my wife and I, our second property, it was down south. So completely different rules and structure from up in New England. So it was a drastic difference. And we used the first house. We didn't know too much, but what we did learn is, okay, whatever we learned, we're going to apply it with the second property. And we applied for multiple grants where we actually got a check back at closing. I'm going to say that again, Stephen, for you. We got money back, a check from our mortgage company back because of how many grants and how much funding we got.
So you were able to basically get a house for free and get paid to get it.
We got paid to buy our property, our second property. We got paid to do that.
That's wild.
And every house since then.
But Bernard, this just sounds too good to be true. What would you say to those folks?
It's not. I mean, zerodownsmartstart.com. Go to the website. Hey, you don't have to believe. We have testimonials up, and just go. I also so something I'm going to start, and I actually in a week we have our first one. We do monthly webinars. So if you think it's too good to be true, hey, just come to a webinar. Free webinars. We don't ask you any information, just your name, whatever state you're looking in. Come to the webinar. You'll get the link in your email once you fill out the form, and I'll run through it. Different, weeks and different months. I'll have my team on there, and they're going to run through it as well. And we'll just say, hey, this is what we do step by step. And we don't, Steven, if you look out, are you near a window?
I'm not.
Okay. So imagine you're outside. How many houses are around you, you'd say?
I'm in sort of a more industrial area where my office is at. So there's not really a ton of houses, more like apartment to the back. And we've got a neighborhood just yonder, and then we're kind of in a neighborhood, but maybe I'd say, 400 in the neighborhood just across from us here.
400 in the neighborhood, right? We don't look at it as, oh, there's not enough homes, there's too much competition. No, there's enough for everyone. So on those webinars, I will give out all the information I know. Okay, maybe you can then decide if you want to work with us with the information you have. But this is all public information, and everything I learned is all public online too. I just knew where to find it.
Right.
So if it sounds too good to be true, I would say, hey, that's what I thought as well. When I'm telling you, Steve, when I looked at that check and I said, wait, we're getting money back. When we went through underwriting and they said, okay, you're good, you don't have to bring anything, we'll actually be writing you a check. I was like, this doesn't even, it sounds too good to be true.
Right.
But it's not. And come to the webinar, it's fully free. You're invited, Steven, so I hope to see you at the next one. And everything that we know we'll teach is just, when you then come on and we work as partners, then we can get a little bit more in depth.
Sure. Yeah, totally. Now, so Bernard, with what you're saying here as well, like, is there any form of catch, like anything someone has to pay in the future? Like help us kind of understand that side of it. I think we're mostly taught growing up that nothing is free, right?
Mhm.
Just because I am something doesn't make me special, right?
Yep.
Like that's what I think most of us are taught, and that's why
Yeah.
values of hard work and going and educating yourself in your adult life is so important for you to have success,
Exactly.
working hard, those things, right? And maybe we were lied to, right?
Yeah.
But with that, Bernard, is there any form of catch, like with a grant, or is it just truly here's money to use, and does it have to be used towards said thing, or can
Yep.
they use it for anything?
Mhm. Well, and that's kind of why we don't do a one size fits all, because every grant is different. So
Sure.
we don't write the terms of the grants, right? It's just whatever we already have, and then we go and apply. So that's really grant by grant, term by term. I can't say that. For me personally, I have not seen anything that was kind of like a, hey, on the back end you owe us something else.
Mm,
For all of our properties, nope. Here's a check. You just have to prove that you actually bought the house and you used it for a home, or not even bought the house. Even if you already have a home, you just have to say, hey, I want a new bathroom. Here are the receipts. We got the bathroom done. And you just have to give that to whatever the foundation is. But no, nothing on the back end. And then, of course, with us as well, nothing on the back end for us. We have that, one initial investment, and then we work with you and we work with the clients until they get exactly what they need. And we have a
mm,
100%, actually, we have a 100% money back guarantee. I can guarantee you will not invest more money in our program than money that we can get you. I guarantee it. And we've
sure.
worked with hundreds of clients and hundreds of customers, and we have never had to give that, money back guarantee, because it's just there's so many grants and funding out there. It's just people don't know about it. So that's what we really look at.
Right. Yeah. Now, Bernard,
Yeah.
when with a real estate investor specifically, for
Yeah.
example,
Mhm.
who's maybe looking at using this to purchase more properties,
Yeah.
when would applying for a grant be the route that they would go versus using like private money, hard money, traditional financing to
Yeah.
be able to continue growing their empire in real estate?
You could do both. I don't think you have to do one or the other. I think because that's personally that's what we do. That's what I myself do. And again, I don't just teach theory. I teach things that I've applied myself, so I know it works. So I get the grants for however much I can get, as much money as possible, and then I still do hard cash, or I do private money after that to kind of make up the difference. But you can do both at the same time. There's nothing that says okay, you have to work with us only, and then you can't get private money, or you can't then go apply, for a mortgage at a bank. There's nothing that says that. So you can do it at the same time.
Okay, I got you. Now, but as far as like timing, right?
Yeah.
Like the timing of actually getting approved could play a
Mhm.
factor. Is that right?
Yeah, but that's kind of, and that's, again, I know I keep kind of saying it, but that's why it's really, okay, we have to go person to person, and situation to situation. So, yeah, timing, but it's pretty quick. And I think even when we were talking a little bit before we got on the camera, Stephen, it looks good for the government as well. It looks good for these nonprofits. It looks good for the local, state, and federal government to say, hey, I just renovated a bathroom. Everyone, look at this. Now come move into our city. They also
Mm,
have benefits as well. So the people writing these grants aren't necessarily saying, hey, we don't want to give the money out. If that was the case, it wouldn't be allocated. But everything we're getting, we're not like applying for some mystery box saying, hey, hopefully next year they applied and it's a lottery system. No, all this funding
mm.
is already allocated. And they want to give the money out. They just want to do it properly and do it the right way. And that's kind of where we come in to say, hey, we've worked with this company 20 times in the last month. We know what the right way is for them. So when we work with you for your specific application, we'll help you with that.
Bernard, do you think that money gets left on the table because there's not enough people that are actually applying for these grants?
Yes, year after year after year, year after year. Because we work with these companies and we have great relationships with them, and we're
Right.
saying, hey, okay, how much more, funding do you have? And like we talked about, oh, another 20 million, but it's December, 2nd, so this is just for the year, and people probably aren't even going to, or yeah, we have a couple hundred more thousand, but just even the applicants, the percentage that we have and the rate we have it, people probably aren't going to use all the money up. And that's just, it's one of those things. It's if you know, you know, and that's why this field is really, it's pretty niche, because it's kind of a word of mouth, or hey, I heard someone's doing that, or hey, how did you get that? And it goes from person to person, and that's what we have to do. But I really want to make it mainstream. I don't want to make it a niche kind of secretive, hey, I'll whisper to you, you whisper to your friend thing anymore.
Hmm.
If the money's already out there, it's already allocated, why not use it? Because I do. I promise you I do, Stephen. So that's really
Right.
what and everyone that we work with as well. So that's really what we're trying to do as well.
Now, so with your own personal real estate investments,
Mhm.
what's maybe an experience or a story that you have, Bernard, where you used a grant to solve a money problem in a deal?
I would honestly, I now, just because of how blessed we are and things, we kind of made some right decisions. Currently, I don't have that, but I always have to go back to my first property. Again, I was
Hmm.
I was about 22, really searching and looking and saying, hey, I just got out of school. I'm having, I have a okay paying job, but I don't have the 2 years of experience that the banks ask for. I just graduated, so I don't have that. But I can use the schooling, so that wasn't an issue. I had the monthly income that I could afford a mortgage. That wasn't an issue. It was that initial, okay, even with a FHA, even with a 5% conventional, not everyone just has 30, $40,000 laying around. And especially if you do, you now putting, as I know, Stephen, you're also into real estate. Even if you put that initial money down, there's always could be something that happens with the property. So you always kind of want to have your reserves too. So just because you have it doesn't mean that you want to spend it, because anything could happen with the property, whether it's residential or commercial. So keep your money in in your pocket. And it was really that first property where I realized, hey, even I left so much money on the table that I didn't know about at the time. We're even going back and now using the knowledge I have now. I'm saying, man, I could have got that house for free too. If I knew what I knew now, I wouldn't have even paid for that first one. Um, so definitely that first property, I always look back and say, hey, I don't, at the time I did the best I could with what I knew and the knowledge I had, but if I yeah, that's the one property I had to actually come out of pocket for, and it would have never happened if I knew what I know now.
So, and that kind of ties into my next question,
Yeah.
and we'll kind of start winding down with this
Yeah,
one.
sure.
But so, if you could go back to when you started
Yeah.
investing in real estate, buying your
Hmm.
own properties,
Hmm.
and then now where you help other people to do
Yeah.
this through the grant process,
Yeah.
I- if you could go back all that experience and take it all with you, starting from
Hmm.
scratch,
Yeah.
what would you do different, and what would you do the same?
So differently, I would definitely say and I don't even know if this is going to sound kind of cliche, but my confidence. I would say
Hmm.
there's definitely something subconsciously, I would say, for every first time home buyer. And even if you have multiple properties, because even now I kind of get that, hey, is this too good to be true, or what am I kind of doubting? But really, I would say the mindset part of it. If I knew everything I know now, and if someone just taught me and told me, hey, Bernard, this is everything I have. I've done it. I've been doing it for years, and they just laid it out in front of me. I just said, "Oh, this is going to be easy. Like it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be tough." And I think a lot of times we look online and we look at the TV and we say, "Oh, everything's just it's getting too expensive. It's so hard. It's so hard." And for whatever reason, those are the narratives we hear. But when you're really on the ground and looking around, yeah, home prices are going up, but so is everything else. So are these budgets that are being allocated to help kind of offset that. So if I knew everything that I know now, I would just have more confidence in the home buying process, and even the first couple properties, even more confidence with saying, okay, I know I have this one. Can I buy another one? Because if something goes wrong with number two, am I going to still be able to afford number one? And then just kind of going from there. So I just think the confidence of the overall home buying experience and just the enjoyment of it, and saying, okay, now I'm doing this because I'm enjoying it. I love it. You know, this is a home that I really see myself in, and this is a home that I see other people living in. I have personal relationships with some of the tenants that we have, and they tell me all the time, Bernard, you've literally changed my life. I didn't think it was even possible to be able to afford rent in this city for this price, but that's also really not my goal and the goal of my team. And even when we started this company, it's not just to have a bunch of homes, hike the price up, and charge people the most amount of money. It's really to help people, because there are certain situations I've been blessed, and my family, we've been blessed to really be able to help, you know, be a blessing to other people. And that's something that I really take pride in as well. And for me, it's not just all about the money. It's about the human aspect, because we've all been there. I've rented before, and I knew what it was like when, all right, the first is coming up and maybe I don't have everything that I need. And I remember what those days were like. So I really try to help my tenants. And when we do residential, you know, our residential properties, we really care about the individual, and we really care about every single person. And that's something that I would say to any person investing. Make sure you really care about the individual, because the same way that house was built, the same way that house can fall, and then you'll be looking like, man, I wish someone would just help me, you know. So
Yeah, absolutely. You're blessed to be a blessing, right?
one of my slogan I say is, come get blessed with a grant from me, Bernard Grant. So that's kind of what I say.
It's so perfect. Your last name is
I
like
know.
literally
Hey,
what
Stephen, I
are
was
the
born for this.
chances?
I was born
Oh
for this,
my,
Stephen.
literally. Oh my goodness. Well, Bernard, thanks for joining us today. If anyone wants to learn more about you or what you're working on, where should they go for that?
Yeah, so zerodownsmartstart.com. So not the number, just spell it out, zero. So zerodownsmartstart.com, or you could email us at support@zerodownsmartstart.com.
Awesome. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed today's show, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks again for
Thanks,
being here,
Stephen.
Bernard.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.